I'll let you know when we're live on YouTube. And we are live on YouTube. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are live.
Hi.
Good evening. Good evening. Hi, honey. How are you doing this evening?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I am doing just fine. We're live on YouTube. This is our second podcast. Last week we had our pilot show, and we received some positive feedback out there. And we really appreciate everyone who provided that positive feedback. So we decided to do another show, a little bit more structured, a little bit more improving of the technology and things like that. So we're back again. And if you do not know the title of this show, I actually put it in the subject of the YouTube channel, and basically it's just if it's not showing, it was titled "How Did This Happen?" And we'll go into that just a little bit as to explain how that happened, how this happened, us. So thank you again, everyone, and
welcome to our podcast. Yeah,
absolutely, and
I just want to say that I hope this show. We hope that this show will help with relationships and long distance relationships. We're a long-term couple dedicated to each other, and we live 7,000 miles away.
7,000.
Yeah. So we're live from Israel and California, and many people wonder how we met and how we make it work.
Hence the title. How did this happen?
That's why we're here. That's why we want to do this show.
Absolutely, and hopefully we can be an inspiration to others. Before we get started, where you are, we're 10 hours ahead. You're 10 hours ahead of me, so you're just waking up, and I'm just winding down. I've had a long day at work, and so I want to start the show off to a virtual toast. I'm sipping a little bit of the Gold Bar. We ran across this last year. We gave a lot of this out to our family and friends, and I hope they like it. It's whiskey, so cheers, and a virtual salute to everyone in our virtual audience. A little bit of the
that's right. L'chaim.
Exactly. So let's talk a little bit about the title of this show. How did this happen? So, as you all know, we how did this happen? We're 7,000 miles apart, like Swany said, and so of course in the information technology age, the age of the internet, we met online. Now, we won't give out any names of platforms or anything like that. We're not going to plug any platforms, but of course it was online. And I've given this story to you. Now we're going to give it to the world. That it was, in my opinion, it was a blessing. And in my opinion, it was the universe acting in our favor. And I say that because I basically pressed a button. And this button was basically opening up the audience to the world. And lo and behold, as soon as I hit that button, this wonderful person was there. And we sparked the conversation straight away. And it's been we have not looked back since. And I remember meeting you, and you saying, just a casual encounter of someone that you meet online, but just a general conversation. We call it a pulse check. Just checking my vitals, I'm checking your vitals and things like that. And we thought nothing else about it. You said, I'm going on a work retreat, and I will, talk to you whenever I talk to you. So you went on this work retreat, for a day or so, and I didn't hear from you, for about a day. And of course,
Only one day.
only one day, but in the
Right.
online world, one day is like 1,000 days. So in the online world, if you don't hear from someone within a certain amount of time, it's okay. Move on. Life goes on. No big deal. And I remember when you returned. And no. Granted, I believe maybe you can refresh my memory. When you were on the trip, maybe you sent some images back here or there because you're an artist, and we'll talk about your art in a little bit. You are a photographer, you are an artist, and you take some very unique pictures. And if you want to see those pictures, just check out this channel. Check out Random Revelations part 1, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So I know you. I believe you sent some images back, but it was really nothing serious. And then a day after you returned, one day after you returned, I believe from that day forward, and we're talking May of 2022.
May,
So
right.
from that time on, I don't believe we've gone more than a period of 8 hours without communicating within that time frame. Ever.
Yeah,
Now we've had
that's true.
we've had a couple of ups and downs here and there, but for the most part, we've never gone more than an 8 hour period without. And that 8 hours is when we're sleeping. So
Yes.
so
Yes, the communication was always very, very flowy, very stable. Yeah.
that is the key. Communication is
Yeah.
the key to everything. So whatever. Any type of advice that I can give anyone who's in a relationship, the key is to communicate. The key is constant communicating. And I remember people asking me, how do you do it? And I tell them, I say, and this is, a few months going back, about a year or so, I would say, we've never gone more than 2 hours without communicating in some form or another, either texting, video chat, or a verbal conversation. We've never gone more than 2 hours. Now, we may have gone a little bit here and there, but for the most part, we still maintain that. So, and when I say more than 2 hours, that's when we are awake. Okay, so if you're sleeping, of course, and I think we average about 5 hours between the both of us, so that's about maybe 10 hours throughout the day of no communication. But there's 14 more hours that we're communicating.
Yeah.
So in some way or
Yeah,
another. So,
we go to sleep. We go to sleep and we wake up with always, a text or a phone conversation. So there's never a time that we don't check on each other. And that's the beauty of it, I think just not just in a long distance relationship. I think in every relationship, it's this stability and this flow that we keep on having that comes very naturally to us. It's not something that is forced. We really do what we feel is right. So it comes out that way. But I'm sorry, I cut you off now.
that's
But
okay.
I just wanted to give a little more context.
We're spilling the tea tonight
Right.
on the key to a long distance relationship. We're spilling the tea. The other
but to give it a
question.
little more context,
Yes, I'm listening. You have the floor.
I'm just saying that we met post-corona, post the COVID virus, COVID.
Right.
You're gonna have to excuse my accent. Sometimes I have.
Your accent is perfect, but this is
yeah.
still considered a COVID relationship. We're still in the pandemic, so we're
is
still.
it? Mm,
I remember that you and I have actually gone a few places here in the States in which we've had to mask up. So we're still we're still in the pandemic, of course, but this is considered a quote unquote pandemic relationship.
yeah.
Now because we are pressed for time, this is a question that I want to let the world know. You often ask me this, so I'm going to answer your question. I've already given you the answer, but your question to me was, Mike, what was your first reaction when you first saw me? So let me explain to you that you and I, because we communicate so much. I mean, I think that we communicate even more than couples that are local and see each other all the time. We communicate a lot, and we know a lot about each other, and even before we physically met, we established a very strong connection. So when I first saw you, it was number one, seeing you in person was better than the pictures. So that was number one. I was like, okay, okay. I was like, okay.
Good to know.
This is. I mean, your pictures are beautiful, but I think that I won't go too much into it. But in your pictures, you look very tall. I'll just leave it at that. So
I'm anything but tall.
yeah. So seeing you was okay. This is everything that I thought and more. And I did not feel any type of way as far as keeping my distance or being uncomfortable. I met you. It was hugs, it was kisses, and it was the most natural experience that I could ever have in a relationship. And that's several months after meeting you.
Yes, I think it was 5 months.
5 months.
5 months
Yeah.
talking and sharing, our lives, like photos, videos, trying to get to know each other through technology, basically. And that's why I said it was post Corona time, because a lot of people, were doing that. People were working from home. As far as the whole dating world, it was also through either, I don't know, all kinds of technologies that people were using. So I think it came in the time that was the right time. And us meeting online was just, the way things were going at the time. Now, I think that, to give my perspective and how, when I was on this dating site, you wrote to me a very sweet message, and I saw your picture, and I was okay. He seems very nice. I'd like to know him. And I think that we at the beginning we thought, would like to know each other. We don't know where it's going to go because we do live, far away. But I think from very, very early on, maybe even from the beginning, there was the spark that pushed us to continue. Because not everybody, says, hey, do I want to continue with that because it's so far away? And I think we had this special, not connection at the beginning, but the spark that started everything, basically. And you were talking about the retreat, and I think by the time I was at the retreat, my work was a workout site. I think we already had this special connection, even though it wasn't, we didn't say it out loud to each other, but we still felt something. And that's maybe why we felt this way, like what's going on, why I don't hear from her, or I think we had a conversation, and you were already talking about coming to visit, to Israel, because that was your dream to come and visit, this land, and you were saying, oh, maybe I'll go and tour with a group. And I think I was disappointed. And I think from the moment I understood that I was disappointed is when I understood that this is more than just, getting to know each other. This is something that I want to actually connect to this is somebody I want to connect to on a deeper level. And maybe I went, a little silent, But then, as I came back home, I was already like, "Hey, what's up, Mike? I came back. What's going on? Didn't hear from you." And that was it. That's when we started to talk nonstop, basically.
Nonstop is correct.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, and you've shared this with me many times, and now the
Yeah.
world now the world knows.
Yes, the world knows.
No, I want to because my story of having this desire to move to Israel and retire one day in Israel, that's a whole different subject in itself. But and we talked about that. But staying on the how did this happen note, there's something that I think is also crucial for individuals, and it doesn't matter where you are in the world. You have to have things in common. And one of the things that I noticed that we have in common, that you and I share, and two things we share in common, and the first thing is we know a lot of the same music, and
That's right.
we have an appreciation for the same genre of music, and when we're together, we're driving, we're often dancing together in the car, or we're at home
Yeah.
dancing, and so we have an appreciation for music of this, same, and it's different genres, and I'm really surprised that we have a connection with. Of course, I'm an older, seasoned guy, so a lot of the music that I appreciate is older. But of course, your culture and your background has a huge appreciation
Yeah.
for artists like James Brown, and other artists. So we share that in common. The other thing that we share in common is our appreciation for things that are, I'll just say, multimedia. You are an artist, and you ventured out, and you've shared with me many of your art. You've actually participated in art shows
Exhibition.
in
Yeah.
Europe and things like that. So that connection, that art connection, I'm on the video side, you're on the photography side, but it's all the same stuff. And framing a shot, we frame different. We frame a shot you through the artistic lens of our eyes in the same way. So we share that. And I'll give you a little fun fact. The fun fact, but the audience doesn't. This past holiday season, I believe it was in December of last year, we actually went out and we had a super fun competition about taking images. We were up in the local mountains, and we had a little friendly competition about who could take the best picture of the same object. So we had an object there, and you did your thing, I did my thing, and we compared, the take on it. And I thought that was the most beautiful aspect of friendly, competitive, a way to just share how we appreciate art, but from the different lenses of our eyes. So that was a beautiful thing. But I don't know if you want to add a little something to that. We're going a little bit, but I definitely wanted to highlight one of your art pieces, and you can explain.
That's the photo that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, are you ready for me to highlight this art piece, and maybe you can explain to me,
Yes, of course.
because you haven't explained it to me before, and explain to the world what this art piece means. So I'm going to just put that up really quick on our screen.
That's a photo that won a lot of attention from many photography groups, a lot of critiques, good critiques. But I took this picture at the time of the epidemic. You see this, the woman has a mask on.
Yes.
And I was just as I always do, I was walking in the streets trying to find something that will catch my eye. There are very, very specific angles and places and people sometimes that I am drawn to. And this is one of them. This is this represents for me. This has a lot of it has a meaning to me because it was a time that I felt were hopeless because they didn't know, how we're going to get out of this plague, that we were in, and yet people were out and going to work and doing what they had to do. So for me, that was hope as well. I have so many things to say. There's like people going up, going down, and it's like just the cycle of life. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. And obviously, it's black and white. And why I say obviously, it's because I'm very attracted to the definition of the black and white. It's very centered into the angles and what needs to come out of the photo. There's a reflection there of flowers or a tree, and that's how I also play with shadows and reflection and if you have any questions about that photo.
Gonna put that back up one more time, and you can see how you work. We can see how you work those shadows there. I think it's absolutely beautiful. You work those shadows. You also work angles extremely well. You've got angles in there. You've got curves in there. I would put that on my wall. I would buy that.
Well, thank you. I'll print it for you.
And this was at the heart of the pandemic for the most part. When was this?
Yes.
Okay.
This was I think maybe right after we came out of the quarantine, and people were just leaving their houses and saying, "Wow, we're in the open. We can actually run free, in the street."
Beautiful.
So that felt like liberation, like some kind of freedom that we didn't feel for a long time. So that was important for me too, to catch that moment.
Outstanding. And this is just a sneak peek. This is just a sneak peek of what you do. Again, a lot of your work is online. Random Revelations, some pieces there. You also have some pieces on various other social media sites. And this will be a topic. This will be an ongoing topic in our episodes when we start planning our episodes. Again, we have so much content to talk to our audience about: relationships, traveling. The different places we've gone to. Wait until we get into Israel. Wait until we get into Jerusalem. Wait until we get into Masada. Wait until we get into Megiddo. Wait until we get into what are some other places? The Dead Sea.
Vegas, New Orleans.
Yeah. So
I remember.
We have plenty of content to share, but we appreciate this opportunity to interact with our online audience. It's therapeutic for us, if I may say so.
Yeah.
And just being able to do what we're doing, and hopefully we can make an impact in this virtual environment that we all exist in, and help somebody out there, or help a couple
Absolutely.
out, help someone out. Individuals or couples.
I wanted to add also that what I really appreciate and in the beginning of our relationship is the fact that we give ourselves time to know each other, because we didn't have a choice, because we were far away, by distance, physically, you in California, me in Israel, and but that came with a lot of positive aspects, because we actually talked. We actually connected on a deeper level, emotional level, and we, like you said, we talked about art and everything that we have in common. Um, and sometimes in relationships you have this time, you have this window that you need to connect to, and this was it. It was 5 months. It's a long time, but it gave us, I think, a very solid base. And when we actually met each other face to face, it felt like we knew each other already.
Absolutely.
And I think that was very special. I really appreciate that time, and that gave us a lot of patience also. So I wanted to add this.
Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing. And I feel exactly the same way, and I'm truly blessed, and to have you in my life. On that note,
Yeah.
I would like to just close out and thank our online audience. Thank everyone who's in within the vicinity to hear this or may hear this rebroadcast. If you have any questions, please drop something into the comments. We'll try to answer those questions, and we look forward to coming back to you next week with more interesting content. So. As we close, I want to salute our audience and have a wonderful Saturday, Shabbat, and I will try to wind down my Friday and just get this weekend going. So thank you so much.
And I'm going to get my day going.
Thank you, everyone, for your time, and we will see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.